You are not becoming weaker by eating lightly. What is collapsing is the false strength your body has clung to for years. When that shell falls away, you will be surprised by the true power within you. I am Ethan Marshall, a 60-year-old physician in the United States who has spent more than 3 decades observing how the human body operates in ways even modern medicine cannot always explain. And today, I want to begin with a truth that might startle you. Throughout my years of practice, the question that unsettles patients the most is not, "Do I have cancer?" but rather, "Doctor, if I only eat vegetables and fruit, will I become weak?" It sounds small, but within that question lies a very real fear. The fear of losing strength, of exhaustion, of not having a body strong enough to carry life's demands. If you appreciate content that helps you understand your health and your body more clearly, please subscribe, like, and share this video so I can continue creating meaningful work for you. The question, "Will eating plant-based make me weak?" is not merely a nutritional concern. It reflects a deeply rooted misunderstanding we've carried for decades, that human strength must come from heavy meals, from meat, from starch, from the fullness after eating. We are conditioned to believe that only by consuming large amounts of food can the body function. Yet, in my quiet conversations with patients, I discovered they are not truly worried about nutrients. They are worried about the sense of instability they imagine will arise when the body is no longer supported by heavy foods. This fear grows even stronger in those who are new to a mucus-free diet. At just the thought of eating only fruits and vegetables, they imagine themselves fainting, unable to work, or barely making it through the day. Interestingly, this anxiety is not unique to our era. In ancient texts I've studied, including writings on the Essenes' natural lifestyle, people thousands of years ago carried the same fear. They feared letting go of heaviness because heaviness gave them a feeling of safety. That fear persists today. We fear illness, but also fear change. We fear our current state, but also fear the unfamiliar. Weakness becomes a psychological shadow, unreal yet powerful enough to hold people back. I often tell my patients that the fear of becoming weak when eating plant-based is natural. Everyone experiences it. But the reason for this fear is not that the body will actually weaken. It is that we have lived too long dependent on heavy food. We have mistaken fullness for health. But ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly light, not sluggish, not sleepy after eating? It may have been so long that you've forgotten what that feels like. Before we move on, let me ask you this. What do you think makes most people afraid of eating lightly? A. They believe the body will lack nutrients. B. They fear the emptiness when there is no longer support from heavy food. Leave your answer in the comments so I know which group you're in. When shifting to a lighter, more natural diet, many people feel as though their energy suddenly drops, as if someone pulled away a familiar source of strength. But this sensation is not a sign of deterioration. It is the inevitable result of a biological process that has lain dormant for too long and is now reawakening. When heavy, mucus-forming, hard-to-digest foods are no longer consumed regularly, the body immediately shifts its priorities. Instead of directing most of its energy toward breaking down food, it frees that energy to process accumulated waste, plaque, and toxins stored in tissues, in the blood, and especially in the colon. This shift can create temporary fatigue because energy is now being redistributed to internal recovery rather than sustaining a false feeling of strength. The colon, where the greatest amount of waste is stored, begins working more intensely, producing reactions that many mistake for weakness. In reality, this is deep cleansing, a process every biological system must undergo to restore its original function. Connective tissues, long packed with trapped waste, begin to loosen, soften, and release toxins. The body needs considerable energy to coordinate these tasks, and that redistribution explains the temporary lack of strength in the early stages. This cleansing process also explains why many people report dizziness, headaches, or temporary decreases in stamina. These are not pathological reactions, but the consequence of toxins being released from their frozen state and entering the pathways of elimination. As toxins move, the body must control, neutralize, and expel them, which requires significant energy. In individuals with long-standing mucus accumulation, a common outcome of modern diets, these reactions are even more pronounced. Additionally, sudden shifts in digestive-related hormonal signals can create a sense of imbalance, indicating that the body is relearning how to operate naturally after years of being governed by unsuitable foods. When liberated from a heavy toxic load, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems must recalibrate from a chronically strained state to a more stable rhythm. This adjustment again requires time. It is essential to understand that the feeling of weakness is merely a transitional stage of recovery, and paradoxically, it is the strongest evidence that profound internal changes have begun. When the energy previously consumed by heavy digestion is released, the body gradually moves toward a new equilibrium where genuine strength is built on cleanliness and internal clarity. What many mistake for weakness is, in truth, the first sign of whole-body restoration. In the search for the true origin of vitality, it is essential to move beyond the assumption that strength comes solely from food intake. The biological reality is that energy depends less on the amount of food consumed and more on the body's ability to absorb, metabolize, and circulate energy without obstruction. When the digestive system is burdened by long-accumulated waste and mucus, this flow becomes impeded, much like a stream blocked by sediment. No matter how much nutrition is added, weakened metabolic capacity leads to persistent fatigue. Thus, the core issue is not how much food enters the system, but how clear the system is. When the colon is cleansed and waste is removed, the blood becomes cleaner, allowing cells to receive more oxygen, an indispensable component in cellular energy production. Any reduction in oxygen delivery directly lowers one's sense of physical strength. Clinical observations reveal that individuals who release large amounts of mucus often experience dramatic improvements in alertness and endurance. As the colon lightens its burden, the liver and kidneys, two major organs responsible for filtration and detoxification, operate more efficiently. This frees additional energy previously spent on processing toxins. In this cleaner state, the body no longer needs to battle internal obstructions, allowing natural vitality to emerge. This explains why people undergoing detoxification do not regain health in a linear fashion, but in noticeable stages. Each increase corresponds to the removal of a prior obstruction. Ancient teachings express this truth with philosophical metaphors. Strength arises not from adding more, but from removing what does not belong. When the inner landscape is clouded by residues, pure strength cannot appear. Only when the body becomes internally clear can natural energy flow unobstructed. These teachings describe strength emerging when inner light is free to move, an image analogous to the modern concept of digestive and circulatory clarity. Therefore, real energy is the result of internal harmony, where organs work at optimal function without being weighed down by waste or obstructive foods. In this context, strength is no longer seen as a temporary post-meal surge, but as the stable state of a smoothly functioning body. When internal systems are clean, biological resources are directed towards sustained endurance, mental clarity, and long-term performance. This is the essence of true energy, not fullness, but flow, not constant input, but the removal of hindrance. The shift from a congested body to a clear one is the foundation upon which lasting strength is built. A clear demonstration of restored internal strength is the case of Arnold Ehret, once considered beyond medical help, yet later achieving remarkable vitality after adopting a mucus-free diet and systematic cleansing. His 800-mile cycling journey was not merely a physical achievement, but evidence that, when freed from toxic burden, the body reveals a natural power far greater than anything produced by heavy nourishment. His transformation was not the result of intense training or specialized supplementation. It was the direct outcome of a body returned to a clean, light, and physiologically aligned state. This pattern also appears in numerous real-world cases. An initial temporary decline in perceived strength, followed by a period of adaptation, and ultimately the emergence of deep, resilient vitality. Many individuals who once struggled with fatigue have surpassed their previous physical limitations after cleansing, with the colon playing a central role. When accumulated waste is removed, reflexive nervous system responses connected to the gut normalize, leading to improvements in sleep, breathing, circulation, and even emotional stability. As a result, endurance increases naturally, not in bursts but as a stable strength rising from within. Those who practice proper fasting experience similar shifts. Reducing the digestive workload conserves a large portion of energy previously exhausted by heavy metabolic demands, freeing the body from dependence on the sensation of fullness. When the organs are no longer overburdened, physiological balance returns, enabling natural energy to rebuild. Many report that their capacity for movement not only returns, but exceeds former limits, showcasing the comprehensive renewal that occurs when the body is no longer dragged down by toxins and mucus. Ancient writings describe the same phenomenon. The body can express true strength only when internal channels are free of obstruction. Purity acts as the gateway to vitality, and maintaining a clean digestive system is the foundational requirement for that gateway to function. Thus, evidence from both past and present shows that real strength does not arise from constant nourishment, but from liberation, freeing the body from long-standing burdens. Renewal occurs not because more is added, but because the body is restored to its inherent design. Across the full arc of transformation experienced through a mucus-free diet, one conclusion stands firm. True strength arises not from accumulation, but from removal. Stable bodily function is not determined by how much nutrient-dense food is consumed, but by whether the organs are freed from obstruction. A clean body, where the digestive system flows freely and the blood is unburdened by waste, consistently demonstrates far greater resilience than one weighed down by toxins. Strength in this state does not come from the fleeting surge after a heavy meal, but from the harmonious coordination of internal systems, a harmony possible only when long-standing blockages are removed. In this perspective, early weakness simply reflects a shift from a stimulation-driven mode of functioning to one rooted in internal balance. Once cleansing is complete, the resulting strength is not explosive, but steady, profound, and enduring. This also explains why those who persist with a mucus-free lifestyle describe their recovery not as becoming stronger, but as returning to how the body is supposed to function. Lightness, easier breathing, and mental clarity arise naturally when obstacles are removed. This state, long recognized in ancient philosophies as the basis of human vitality, reflects the direct link between internal purification and heightened awareness. In practice, this transformation unfolds in stages, each marking the restoration of a biological system. A cleaner colon enhances absorption and elimination. Cleaner blood optimizes cellular activity. Reduced load on detox organs raises baseline energy. These form a reinforcing cycle in which purity promotes strength and strength maintains purity. At this point, health is no longer a struggle against decline, but a natural expression of correct physiological operation. Thus, the central message is this: lasting strength depends not on what is added, but on what is removed. When the body achieves clarity, energy is no longer wasted on unnecessary processing, but used to sustain life with greater precision and efficiency. This lightness becomes the foundation of true strength, present in every breath, every movement, and every moment of conscious awareness. The journey to reclaim the body's true strength is not about eating more or relying on heavy meals, but about freeing the body from long-standing burdens. When the digestive system is cleansed and mucus and toxins no longer exert pressure on the blood, tissues, and nervous system, the body can finally operate according to its natural design. Early weakness is simply the sign that recovery has begun. As clarity returns, strength becomes steady and enduring, reflecting the harmony of the organs and the calm of the mind. The path does not require more nourishment, but the courage to release what no longer serves you. One key insight is this: the foundation of health lies not in accumulation, but in liberation. Practically, you can begin with simple steps such as reducing obstructive foods, prioritizing fresh fruits and vegetables, drinking enough water to support elimination, and taking a brief moment each day to observe changes in your body. Once you allow your body to become lighter, the rest is the natural intelligence it already possesses. What do you feel is the biggest obstacle preventing people from embracing a lighter, more cleansing way of living? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you would like to receive an ebook on natural health and inner healing, fill out the form in the description. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video so we can continue bringing you more valuable content.